So, hello everyone. Very happy you made it for today's. Well, let's see how it will go. Complicated or easy? Yeah, with all the fog. So it's Caspar David Friedrich, yeah, the German painter, and he's I'd say most iconic, yeah, painting. Wonder about the sea of fog. Yeah. So take your pencils. We'll start with a sketch, and then, as usually, I will tell more what I found out about the painter. But let's analyze. Right here, I've tried to print out, and the printer kind of ended up at least like black and white. Maybe helps a bit. Yeah, just so let's say we can start with this darkest rock. Yeah, and let's say how big it is. Yeah, so it's not the half. Yeah, it's a bit more than 1/3. So kind of planet. Yeah, so it's also not too high. Yeah, leave all the space. Also, we have kind of actually lots of space for the sky. Yeah, so maybe even lower. Yeah, and it looks like his leg is kind of in the middle of the page. So this can be also our kind of, let's say we can find the middle part. So somewhere here will be his leg. Yeah, you can, very sketchy, very sketchy. Yeah. And then we can plan the, yeah. Don't worry about like being too precise with rocks. Yeah, it's more about, let's say, general shape, the size, not all these little parts. So something like this. And so sketching the figure, let's say it's very useful to look at all those spaces. Let's say, take a look at the space in between the legs. Yeah, how it looks. It looks like rectangular. How long is the rectangular? Let's say the space between the arm and the body. So it's like a rhomb. So kind of trying to get those shapes in between will help you to have the proportions. Yeah, so let's say if the space between the legs at your drawing looks more like a square, then probably, you know, it's something you need to correct. Yeah, so those emptinesses between the, yeah. Yes, you can start also, let's say, maybe with the legs, since we have kind of the rock. Yeah, and but then, for example, I will go and try to define how high is my, so where the head is ending. Yeah, I don't know, can also measure, yeah, maybe from the end of the foot till the head. Yeah, but yeah, let's say it's also, when you measure, it's always you compare one size with another. Yeah, so maybe I've compared, let's say, yeah, from the foot till the end of the head, and then let's say till like the size of rocks. Yeah, so kind of, so, but this is more like for general proportion on the page. Yeah, and then the proportions already inside the body, then you can also then later, let's say, I can measure, okay, how long is the foot till where the dress is starting, and then how much times it's in, 1, 2, like 2.5. Yeah, so it's also, feel free to sketch like by the feeling. Yeah, and then you can always do these like you can measure to check yourself. Yeah, especially if, let's say, you have a feeling, no, somewhere is something maybe not really getting, yeah, then this measuring technique can help you find where is the the error. So, and then we can also, so the end of the other leg, of course, it's in the darkness. The other, let's say, trick, I can put a diagonal from where the first leg is ending, yeah, because it's like up, and where the other, and then I have this diagonal direction. So then I just can transfer the direction and so this is also the way how you can find the spots. Yeah, so basically what we are doing, we are finding where each part, which point leaves, and so, yeah, and use eraser, correct, yeah, till you're kind of happy. Yeah, for example, in the jacket, yeah, so if you zoom in, the jacket kind of goes straight, and then there is a little kind of triangle because it's the elbow. Yeah, and then also horizontally, you just draw the line and you see, it's actually on the same size where the other elbow is. Yeah, so this little detail, but it gives the feeling. Yeah, and of course, if you put it too low or too high, then the feeling is a bit strange and something wrong. And so, yeah, then check also the head. Somehow our brains or hand tends to draw the head smaller. I don't know why. So it also happens to me. So kind of, I know it, and then I just try to make it bigger. Yeah. So I feel mine one is a bit kind of slim. Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe, you know, he lost some weight. Yeah. So I can do some lines on the rocks. Yeah, of course, the rocks are very dark. But you can kind of, can check, zoom in if you see some lines, because of course it will help instead of having just a black spot, then we will have some texture there. Yeah, and then again, let's say those maybe on this maybe also. Yeah, so the lines. So when artist is using the diagonals on the drawing, the diagonals are always very, very strong thing in the painting, and you always should kind of follow where the diagonal is going. Yeah, so now we can also check, okay, it's where the hands are. Yeah, so it's pointing to the body. Yeah, sometimes in paintings you can have the diagonal. It's often points to the head or to the neck. Yeah, so because this makes the viewer see there. Yeah, and all this foggy stuff, of course, try to sketch very very light, or as usually then just lighten up later your drawing with the razor. And then we have the mountain. And there is another little mountain that also kind of goes through the shoulders. Yeah. And then, like, let's say I've marked those diagonals, then I have the space where to play with those rocks. Yeah, so here there are also like the trees. We'll see how we manage it. And again, you can kind of follow, okay, these rocks are starting more or less where the dress is. Yeah. So then it also helps not to make them too big, because you see, yeah, also where they're ending. Yeah, maybe no need to really paint the trees. We'll probably just do the, with the brush. Yeah, and then the other rocks, I can also, let's say, okay, the one is where the knee is. And then also not making them too high, because they're a bit more closer. Yeah, we see that The rocks on the left are, yeah, and again, you can just pretty much sketch those some lines of the rocks. Yeah, so for the sky, I say, of course, we just leave it. Yeah, no, it's very, very light, so no need to put the pencil there. Let's have the, yeah, so finish, work on your sketch. Yeah, let me know if you have some, some questions or issues. And then also let me know if you're done. Yeah, so like thumbs up. And Karen is quick today. Okay. Or she was just prepared earlier. Yes. This is also what some who are painting with me, I know they do it because just not to feel stressed and rushing with the sketch. Then of course, if you have time, you can just sit and
I'm just, Evie, I'm just really, I just want to tell everybody else, I'm really slow. So I kind of like to do it beforehand. Otherwise I get really left behind and then I never finish anything.
That's good. It calls knowing yourself, no? And that's very important, of course. No? And so just maybe 1 minute. I'll tell you a bit about Friedrich. So it's artist from 18th century, and he was born and living. So it's the north of Germany. In those times, it actually belonged to Sweden, but it was kind of this. So if you kind of imagine the map, that's where Germany connects to Poland, and there is some island, Rügen. So it's actually the Baltic Sea. So he painted lots of Baltic Sea. And then for me, of course, it's very kind of close, yeah, because kind of you can relate to this landscape. It's very flat. And yes. So and it was also the times where the Germany were fighting against Napoleon. Yeah, so it was all this a bit Germany-French story. And Friedrich, so in general, he was like a person, he was very calm, he was very melancholic, and he had some bit interesting connection like with the topic of death. It's also in his personal life, death followed him. Like, of course, those times the families were with lots of kids, and then one brother died, and then it was the accident on ice skating. So the other, his brother also died, and he was very, kind of emotionally affected in this. And then I think mother also. So kind of, this maybe you can also, one can feel this loneliness, this melancholy in his paintings. And then of course, in this century where Friedrich was painting, there was also kind of the change of the landscape paintings. So before it was a lot of realism, and Friedrich is the like classical example of romanticism. Yeah, so it means that his landscapes are not just representing what's there, but it has this emotional meaning. So it's a bit like symbolism. Yeah, so here, let's say in this painting, all those clouds, all those mountains, this fog, it's somehow represents the soul. And the man standing here, it's of course the painter himself. So he painted very often people from the back. So very rarely, almost never, he painted portraits. The only exception, it was his own portraits. And you can later Google. In those times, when he went to study to Denmark, to Copenhagen, and those times he were doing lots of pencil drawings. And there is one of his portrait made in pencil, very emotional. Like one side is very white, and the other side is very in the shadow. So again, there's a bit symbolism, and so So there is also interesting like explanations why he didn't painted faces. So one is like he was not good at it, let's say, although his portraits are awesome. So kind of. And the other like more romantic explanation is that he actually he didn't like it. He thought that the face of human, it's always maybe it's lying or it's not truthful. So he was kind of, he didn't want it to paint it. Okay, I think more or less, Sanera, hope you also more or less done with the sketch. So let me talk a bit, color wise today, pretty much, very, very subtle, let's say. So of course, here I have some sky blue. We will need probably lots of white. Especially if, I don't know, Sanera, what's your experience in mixing colors? For this kind of sky, as in this painting, you will need lots of white and tiny bit blue. So the mix is very pale. Then of course we have some black. Then I have the burnt umber for the rock, and so the green. So if you zoom in, the border of the jacket is kind of greenish, and this is one of the like very tricks. Also Rembrandt used this, and he could have all the figure painted very black, and then just some little part of the jacket where the light is falling is some greenish, and it gives us the feeling the whole jacket, the whole thing is green. So here kind of also, and then if you zoom into the rocks, the same, then you can see there is this maybe sienna, maybe ochre, so light brown, right just on the border, because it's also this contour light effect. So let's say the light is coming in front to our eyes, so then of course the figure is all in the shadow. In this case, then it kind of unites it. We don't really already care a lot about the details inside the body, inside the jacket. It's more about the silhouette. But okay, so let's proceed. So I will be putting lots of white, and some little blue. So we're starting, of course, with the background. Of course, the usual from light to dark. So feel free also take bigger brush. We have kind of big area to cover, and so I put very little blue, and just a little dip of brush to my water. So also maybe not too wet, but you'll feel it. It can be actually a bit more watery maybe. And then we create a bit half transparent layer, first one. And then anyway, we have all those clouds on top. So let's say now we just cover this light blue, we let it dry, and later we will play with giving the clouds and those foggy hills. And as usual, when you're mixing, when you're trying to get the color, it's better go back and forth 3 times, adding your blue to the white, and slowly seeing the color, then just, one time lots of blue, and then all the mix is ruined, because then you try to add more white, and usually it's always just better start again. So playing with the blue, then can also can have some strokes on the page, see how it looks. Yeah, and I'm just covering. Yeah, then also adding extra water, you can make it look more pale. Yeah, probably the word will be not pale, but more transparent. But it will also kind of, you can have the effect. So both sides. Of course, when you're adding white, the color becomes more pale. When you're adding water, the paint becomes more just transparent. Yeah, there is just less paint, and but you can kind of use both tricks. So I'm covering. Now let me see. Yeah, maybe just not to worry, kind of till this diagonal border. Yeah, although there is kind of a bit more kind of yellowish even I see. Yeah, so let's see. Like, yeah, if you have like your blue too blue, you can stop a bit earlier, because maybe then, yeah, because then it comes kind of the part of the heel, and I feel it's a bit kind of pinky brownish there. So, but it's also very pale and very light. So maybe just to avoid, just also to get this nice.
Evie?
Yeah, tell me.
Are you going over the mountains? You're going around them with the blue background?
In the end, I've decided to stop kind of before the mountains, because I see this part of the mountain, there is still more this pinky yellowish, yeah, something. Yeah. So kind of maybe it's a bit more darker. Maybe if you cover it will work. But since it's also kind of very, very pale, so I will, yeah, so maybe I can even like straight away. I'll try. So I'm putting a little piece of ochre, and I will try to mix. So then I can just blend it in, because then we can see also a bit yellow going up on the sky. Yeah, and of course it's also very, very subtle. It's kind of like zooming in the picture, you can feel, but let's see, huh? Okay. Okay, I'm playing here with this very pale ochre, yeah, so then also careful, yeah, it might mix with blue, getting green, yeah, but if it's very, very pale, then it won't be the, so the heel, even a bit more up, huh? Yeah, of course, I can go over those dark parts, yeah, those diagonals. I don't know. And then, so here it feels a bit more yellowish. Below the diagonals feels a bit more brownish. But okay, maybe it's already a bit too detailed. Yeah, let's right. Yeah, so something like very subtle. Here I got the yeah, and then all the space, still the rocks. Then we can cover also. Yeah, it should be something very pale. Yeah, even like something, yeah, pale, grayish, brownish already. Yeah, but there are also some strokes of yellow I can find. And of course, but anyway, yeah, we're covering. So maybe I'll take also a little dot of brown, and we'll make the same pale mix with brownish. Yeah, and no worries, like if it's all very watery, you can go over and like, I still see my sketch, I still see my line of. And of course, there where it is dark blue, it will be no problem to cover. Yeah, but we'll try to see if we manage this feeling of very pale background. Yeah. Also myself, I am curious. So and if you have like too much water, what can happen sometimes, then you start already, you move your brush and you move the paint as well. So then just stop and wait till it's dry. And because like, for example, it happened now with me, to wet brush, and here I have like, I can see again the paper. So just don't fight it, because you will never win. Waiting till it's dry, and it will be very easy to cover. Yeah? So okay, maybe just to get into the shape, we can cover the rocks. Yeah? So I'm putting brown, and I will be putting also black, because then yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can straight away play with some parts gonna be darker. Yeah, so then also remember that the edge, yeah, it's kind of very light. So maybe it's actually makes sense before we get into the darkest part. We actually take smaller brush and we just go by the border and mark those. Yeah, so a bit more, let me see, where is my sienna? Yeah, so it can be sienna, it can be ochre. There is also something grayish, but grayish we can finish up later. Yeah, so then maybe also I will mix sienna a bit with brown. It's not too yellow. Yeah, and maybe just. Yeah, and then also let's see. Yeah, maybe even this is a bit too dark. Yeah, take a look. Maybe also adding a bit of white can do. Yeah, and again, I can cover a bit more than it's there, because later I'll be just edging already with the darker brown. Yeah, but I think this edge is important. And you can also notice, so in some areas, again, just zooming in, you see there is some grass. Then also just feel free with the kind of brush. Yeah, so kind of somewhere here I added those strokes. Even if they're now too big, later I can also fade them. Yeah, because we'll be working in all this fog, yeah, with this grayish white, trying to. Yeah, and again, maybe also not everywhere is the border, because then as usually we try to avoid making two the same. Here, see. Yeah, so also in the middle, somewhere in the middle, you can also play with them. It will be probably that later we will need to make them darker, the ones in the middle, but at least now we can have them. And yeah, so it's also, so our rock is not too boring, so it's not too just one plain spot. What I did now, I also took a bit of black, added a bit of white, and actually we'll play here a bit with it's not with the light brown, but with maybe lighter. I think maybe I needed even lighter grayish. Yeah, so also those lights on the rock, but they can be a bit grayish. Okay, since I have this light grayish on my brush, yeah, so this is what I usually do. Instead of like that, I can also jump in and do maybe somewhere some also grayish parts. So maybe those rocks, yeah, but also feel it, yeah, if kind of, because this is very pale. Yeah, so also maybe a bit more white or a bit more water. You can also use, let's say, if you put some paint and you feel it's too dark, what you do, you can just, you kind of clean up your brush in water, and then with a clean brush and water, you can spread out a bit what's there, because if you continue moving with the same brush, the brush still has paint and you will be getting more darker. Yeah, so let me just stop. Yeah, so this is also like, just since I had the grayish on my brush, I kind of put it as a base layer, as also maybe to give some shape to the painting. But then of course I'll be coming back later to all right, I started playing with the gray apparently. I won't stop. So also playing with the rest. Yeah, remember using this dry brush technique, meaning, yeah, there is very little water on your brush, so you can also sometimes just like wipe it with a paper towel, and then what you get those brush strokes, that somewhere it's painting, somewhere not, and this is actually can be very like what you need, yeah, and later, let's say, I don't have to worry about the emptinesses I left, because once it's dry, I can go in with with other paint, lighter or darker. And, yeah. So if you are doing the hill, those hills that are at the back, just add more white. Yeah, so it's really, yeah, it's also better to go slowly. Let's say if it will be too light, I will add more Yeah, I will make it darker later, but with this. But also acrylic, don't worry. Like, let's say if you made the heel too dark, then again, just let it dry. And later you can just go on top with white paint and it will, you know, you will get the lower intensity. So now I come back a little bit. Yeah, so I had this thing that I got some emptinesses on my sky, yeah, because of this, what I was talking, that too much water, the paint is moving. So now it should dry. I can kind of get in and patch some parts. Okay. Yeah, so kind of slowly we're building up. If you want, we can also do then the hair and the greenish part of the jacket. Yeah, there are also some, so let's say hair, the kind of, yeah, let's say almost pure sienna ochre. And you see, so the wind is blowing them to the left side. And this is also a bit kind of one of the characteristics, yeah, of this emotional. So, like, as it's possible, try to maybe have this feeling that here are, yeah, maybe also it can be not so easy. I mean, be careful not to make, you know, them too big, you know, the head, just because you try to make those hair. Yeah. Also, when I draw the little parts, what I often do with the brush is more like tapping. So then it helps me, then I can control better that I'm inside the space I need. Yeah, because when I move, then it gets bigger what I've painted. And yeah, and let's say of the hair, just first I've put this just this light sienna, and then later I will just play a bit with the darker. So yeah, then of course small brush can also be useful if it feels more comfortable. Yeah, but those details we of course then do more in the end. Yeah, and then again, let's say if your brush is too wet, then it probably means then you'll be just later, just like do one layer, leave it dry, and then later you can go on top again if it's not dark enough. Okay? So, so a little bit, just some tapping. Yeah, there is also very nice this white part of the shirt. I think we can do it also more like in the end as accent. Just sit this white line also a bit more on top. Yeah, because acrylics they allow it. So maybe we can just like not worry much about this part of the little part of this white shirt. Yeah, maybe like I can color here a bit this grayish, you know, just to have it the place. So okay, there's something more. Okay. And then later already we'll do the detail. Okay, I'll put the green. The green he used there. Yeah, still, it looks a bit more like emerald, so a bit more like to the blue. So just take the green you have and just take a look how it looks. Yeah, so always usually like in those, let's say if you have just 12 color set, usually it comes just one green, and this green is always needs to be mixed with something. Needs to be mixed with yellow or with blue or with black, but in its pure way, it's yeah, it's considered to be not professional to use it because it's a bit, yeah. So yeah, take just blue, maybe phthalo blue, a bit darker, or ultramarine. Yeah, just also a tiny bit. And yeah, because of course it doesn't have to be like something very light there. Yeah, of this green. Yeah, it's also trying to reach this level of that there is a feeling of it. Yeah, but yeah, okay. And then I just kind of go by the contour of jacket. And again, I'm not worried much. I can kind of put a bit more of this green, yeah, because then I'll be just recovering with yeah. But here, of course, trying to make this border of the jacket not just one straight line, but you see it, yeah. Again, zooming in, you see so many curvy lines there. And, and then also on the knees. Yeah, so again, it will be not everywhere this green line, but now we can put it almost. I mean, you can, let's say, put it everywhere, and then you kind of a bit study more and focus. Where is it not? Yeah, and then just recover it with the black. Yeah, you can also make some greenish strokes inside the jacket. Maybe there is also a bit. And then, of course, also important those little strokes of green inside the other arm. Yeah, this is very, like this accent is, I'd say, is important. Nice, yeah, let it dry. And I don't know, since I'm with my small, tiny brush, I can do also the stick. Of course, okay, the stick also has the game of light, but maybe we already don't exaggerate too much, and we just do with one color, yeah. But if you like really zoom in, then you see there is also a bit lighter brown, a bit darker brown, you know, creating the feeling of shape. Yeah? So the stick goes, or the light goes very long inside the rock. And on top it goes almost from the hand, kind of, and later a bit already mixed, getting into the jacket, but nice. So I have my little brush and brown. I can play a bit with those lights. Again, a bit too much. Yeah. So again, let's say those mountains on the left side, and we have those closer ones, and behind them there are also smaller ones a bit more foggy. Then there again, I'm adding a bit more white. Yeah, so yeah, and from them we also can tell that generally the light is coming from the right side. Yeah. And then also some the same light on the upper parts. Okay, there. So the other heels look they look not so shiny. Yeah, there is some. Yeah, but since I'm like with a small brush and brown, then I can play also a bit. Yeah, because it helps kind of. So we already did, there is some grayish layer, and then now I can do some brownish parts and again let it sit and dry, and then later I'll be back, I don't know, for some others. Yeah, I find it easier rather than kind of sit and maybe do all this part at once. Then one gets tired because of course it's all very tiny there, and but if you do here like a bit, and then let's say we can move doing the big rock, and of course maybe it's easier. Then yeah, and those trees on these rocks, so they also have some grayish, some brown, and then again I just like can tap a bit with some brownish. But very little bit. Yeah, also then check and don't make the trees too high. Of course, with all these little details, it's easy to make them bigger, but so just a little taps. The other side, yeah, there are not really much trees. Okay. Yeah, so like this, slowly with patience, kind of building up the thing. Yeah, so kind of now building up the second layer. One can go either also doing already, like let's say the clouds, so playing with white. But I think, yeah, let's go with the dark rock. So then it gives the feeling, and then we can also put dark on these rocks here. And then we go back playing with clouds, and then we can also start doing effects here. Okay, so dark brown. Yes, everyone is silent, very concentrated. Again, what you can do, you have your brown, of course, let's say here, I just take the brown from my, as it is, and of course it's very light. Yeah, so of course maybe I can use it also to maybe to create like also the third layer. So yeah, we did here light brown, so brown mixed with white areas, and here I can play a bit more with this maybe darker brown, but generally I will need to mix my brown with black. And yeah, so Yeah. And again, put in the rocks, let's say, don't worry much about the brush strokes. Just put one layer, let it dry, and if you're unhappy with some brush strokes, you can, it's easier to cover them. Yeah, but also some brush strokes can be kind of useful. They can actually give a bit the shape of the rock itself. So yeah, maybe a bit more detailed on those rocks next to the leg. Yes, and this is also kind of the viewpoint. Yeah, and in those, when covering like things very dark, what I also like to do is that, of course, when you first fill up your brush, it has lots of dark, very intense color. And then I just go and sit the paint where I see it's very, very dark, where the darkness is needed. But then once my brush is becoming like it's losing the paint, so there is not much paint left, then I don't go and fill up my brush straight away, to the palette, but I kind of play a bit still with those, dry brush with those leftovers, because then it can help me get some less dark color somewhere where I need it. Yeah, so and then also again I have more control when in this case, then I can kind of move my brush more, but it's leaving not much paint, and then I can kind of control how quickly it gets, how slowly it gets darker. Yeah, and then when it's done, of course, then I go back, fill up my brush. Yeah, and then again, just maybe first start with the parts where, like here at the bottom, those were like really dark. Yeah, and then again, you can see already like recovering some areas. Then you can eliminate the brush strokes if you don't like it. Yeah, and then again, of course, work a bit more. Maybe put attention to this where the straight leg is standing, so the right leg. Yeah, because there is also a little bit light on those rocks. Yeah, because it's also kind of giving them attention. Yeah, you can also maybe work and put a bit more also a bit black to the leg. Yeah, so we're not doing yet the whole black, but just since the part is with the rock, and then and of course maybe it makes sense to do just the shoes and and again, don't worry that if the green now is like very light separated, we will unite it, but it's easier to do when it's dry, so kind of I just play with my black and Yes, again, if somewhere is very tiny space you can't get with the brush, then what I do, I'm kind of more tapping my brush. Yeah? Yeah, instead of doing the strokes. Yeah, and like this, just slowly with patience, we get those levels. Yeah, and then again, if like one's a bit tired with the whole rock thing, leave it to rest. And can move to some other part of the painting. And then it's always kind of, you come back a bit with the fresh. When you come back, you look at like it's already dry and you have another view. And so, for example, now I also see that some parts of the rock, they're still maybe too light. Yeah, those border areas we were putting, but I will work on it a bit like later when I come with a second go. No, okay. All right, since kind of just climbing up, can do of course the jacket, so it also feels down. Yeah, for example, here now I feel I need to correct a bit. I have my shoulders too straight, and he has kind of the shoulders like very a bit more up. So just I will recover kind of my this white shirt. And so what I do with this edge of this green we were leaving, so again the same, like when I have lots of black on my brush, I go inside the jacket, and then when I already feel there is nothing left, then I can kind of scratch the border. And yeah, so I slowly blend in the main dark area, and I make a bit darker, of course, this green. Yeah, of course, we need to integrate it. We can't leave it just like the line there, and there should be no line. It's and the bottom of the jacket also has some shape. Can, I don't know, either also take smaller brush to work on that. And moving my black on the jacket can also do moving it like along the direction of, like more of these vertical stripes. Yeah, I can also give the feeling of And like slowly, no rushing, let's say, yeah, to cover all the jacket in once. It's more like step by step. Yeah, and again, no worries if it's maybe somewhere your black there is a bit lighter, somewhere black is like, because it's a bit more watery maybe, so you got a bit more lighter. And yeah, remember, once it's dry, you can retouch. Okay, so I feel, yeah, and of course in try to look more, in this case, from far away. Yeah, so in some moments just sit back and look at your body. I mean, of the body of the guy, of course. Yeah, how it feels proportionally, because sometimes it's like even 1 millimeter, and it really matters. Especially we're doing on a little scale paper. So Friedrich, he was also kind of in the times when he was painting, he was actually forgotten. Yeah, he was rediscovered only in let's say, I think like even 20th century, yeah, in the start 20th century middle, there was some exhibition in Germany, and someone bought his painting, and then he became kind of popular. Yeah, so a little bit like Bach. And so Friedrich, I think he also one time he tried to commit suicide. That's why in his like portraits you can see he's wearing those, so he has also the hair, like, how you call it, going down the face a lot. Yeah, so beard and the ones on the sides, because I think he was probably covering the scars or something. That's all, I don't know. It's what it's like, can be the mystery story, or but also there is one of his self-portraits. He painted himself in his room where he was working, and then you can see the surroundings, like there is window, but the window is kind of halfly covered with a board, so it's actually kind of pretty much dark there, and no light. Yeah, so but he liked it this way. So yeah. Okay, yeah. So I find the shoulders kind of pretty much tricky. I keep on and keep on lifting them. I'm already kind of almost half of my head up, but I think there is something in these shoulders. Yeah, so nothing to do. It means I will And then just clean up a bit and lift the head if it's needed. Yeah. So what you do when you need to correct, then especially let's say if it's you need to put a clean color, yeah, and there is something dark, then you just put, of course, white acrylics, and then wait till it's dry, and then you can recover. Yeah, so here I'm lifting up my head and hair and everything. It's okay. Yeah, so Friedrich was also very religious. So the family he was born was like Lutheran, yeah, Protestant. So I think, and it wasn't the rich family. So I think, let's say nowadays it would be the lower middle class or something. His father, I think, was selling candles and soap for candles for the church or something. So a bit. Yeah, so actually also his first, let's say, school, of course, it was like church schools. And yeah, then as I mentioned later, he went to Copenhagen to study painting. All right, I'm fighting with my neck. All right. Okay, more or less. Later can get back if needed. And what time is it? Ah, okay. 7. Okay, a bit also, like relax from like, if you do lots of tiny stuff, then it's good also to jump back to like a bigger brush, some other color. Yeah. Always like when you feel this, yeah, and it's a bit like, and just going. Yes, so I will play some of my Yeah, and we're still not getting even to the fog, huh? Yes. Sorry, it was too difficult. I asked you. No one gave suggestions, so I went for Friedrich. Yeah, and then of course, like try to do this gradation between the rocks. Yeah, so the closest rocks, they're a bit darker, so the one on the left, then less than the second grade would be like the one on the right, and then coming back to the left side, the small ones on the back. Yeah, so you remember then the perspective rules. Yeah, what's closer to us, it's darker, more details, more precise. What's more far away, it's more foggy. So already studying in Copenhagen, Friedrich, he kind of already developed a bit his style of the landscape. So something, let's say, he was innovative with was he had lots of free space in his painting. So let's say the sky that takes lots of area on painting. The horizon usually is very, very low. Yeah, let's say, okay, maybe this is not the classical example, but if you watch all his other landscapes, that the horizon is very at the bottom. And then usually always then he puts some people on like little tiny figures to his landscapes. And usually they always, like these figures, they feel, what's the word, like a bit misery, you know? So I think he was always a little bit with this humanity in nature, yeah? So maybe he didn't like much people. So okay. I will work a bit more on those mountains that are like really behind the upper than those diagonals. Yeah, and then it's, yeah, but careful. Yeah, it's again, it's grayish, but still with lots of white. Yeah. So for example, also I'm putting now, and it feels a bit too bright. So I can use the help also of magic help of paper towel up. Yeah, and it gets some off. Yeah, and then yeah, slowly put something. Again, let it rest. Don't keep on moving your brush. Move better to the other heel. Like do the same. Then take a look if you need to. Then those diagonals, yeah, they need to be redarkened a bit. Yeah, so probably this painting is a very good exercise in this, getting the tonality right. Yeah, and I think like tonality is really one of the main things in painting. Yeah, let's say composition, of course, is always there. Yeah, you don't go anywhere without composition. But tonality is so it's actually not the colors you choose, but exactly how dark is your green, how light is your blue, and how they all connect in each other. So it's all about in the connection of all your spots. Yeah, that makes the so more or less. Okay, I will be starting. Okay, I will play here a bit more with grayish here in between this. So then we have the fog. So that's my plan. Before starting with the white fog, then I will play with these grayish parts, because then later I can go on top with white as a fog, and this will be my base layer. Yeah, but of course don't put it too much, you know, like you can put it, like you can put it more than it's needed, but of course not exaggerate. Yeah, though the parts where this really will be white, leave it white as it is. Yeah, and remember about directions. Yeah, here we can really see the like moving, yeah, those clouds, so they have really and someone goes more diagonal, then changing a bit, coming up, and so on and so on. If you feel, yeah, you're too dark on your brush, you can wipe it. Yeah, so also not maybe sometimes not even. I don't get into the water, but I just wipe with my paper towel to get rid of some extra paint. Yeah, and then I can continue. Yeah, because it's very often, for example, the tone you need is actually you are getting it just with the leftovers what are on your brush. So let's say I'm doing something and it's too dark, then I just clean my brush with a paper towel, and then I get into the white. Yeah, take some white on it. Yeah, and there it once I get much more lighter gray, the one kind of I need. Yeah, change your brush. So somewhere it feels maybe the smaller is better, somewhere it feels the bigger goes better. Yeah, so those these directions kind of in the air. Yeah, so like maybe they're closer to the dark stone. I was using smaller brush, yeah, so there are like more different strokes, and already they're closer to those diagonals. I kind of maybe went with the bigger strokes. Yeah, and again with this fog, it's again kind of building on top. Yeah, so it will not happen, yeah, in one go. You kind of do something, move to another side of painting, put some layer there. And yeah, so here on my palette, for example, I also have some like very watery gray, and I use it really so to those parts where are already dry, then I get in with this watery gray, and then I change a bit the tonality. Yeah, so if I need it to be more, yeah, let's say grayish. Yeah, and so that's what I said now about, I have watery gray and I go on top. You can do the same, of course, with white. Yeah, and this is also what I often do. Then I get somewhere, so I'm not covering white like a stroke, like let's say I did with a white shirt. Yeah, so I just put a thick part of white. Yeah, but when I kind of need, let's say I feel I need lighten up a bit, maybe those my mountains on the back, those back ones, yeah, then I just go with my watery white, yeah, and it really gives this nice fog, so it stays grayish, and but it becomes more pale. Yeah? And okay, something is starting to show up. Yeah? Yes, imagine guys, this is my first week at school and I had no voice the day before. I was just like, it can't be true. My first day at school and I go with like hardly speaking. So yes. That's why feel free also you to speak, so not the only, but everyone very concentrated, everyone very silent. Maybe some comments. I don't know. So basically the fog is here playing with, I'm playing now with like watery grayish and watery white. Yeah, so somewhere I need a bit more white. Yeah, but then maybe it's actually also makes sense using two brushes, depends, yeah. If somewhere you need two, like cleaner white, yeah, then, so let's say maybe like doing those clouds at the top, I still haven't gone till there, but like if someone is going in that direction, then just the brush, of course, has to be clean. Yeah. And then when you, because imagine also water now is a bit more dirty, so you clean in the water, you also wipe it with a paper towel, because we all know the paint gets into the metallic parts, yeah. And or actually just better take using like two brushes, yeah, so you don't really have to clean each time. So here I'm jumping, one maybe a bit more grayish, one a bit more white. Yeah, and then remember this task we always do, halfly closed eyes, yeah, to check if there is some areas there that are too dark or too light. Yeah, so again, we're coming to this topic of tonality. And so for maybe Sonera, I can explain again this. So what you do, you start closing your eyes, and you keep on like, and while you're looking, let's say, at the original painting. Yeah? And what happens when they are almost closed, then all your shadows, they become like one, they group in. And in this position of the eyes, you can also tell which are the darkest and which are the lightest parts of your painting. And then without changing the position of your eyes, you move it to your painting and it should look the same. Yeah, so, but if you see that in your painting, some corner is kind of too bright, it's jumping out, yeah, then it means you just need to go there and maybe put some grayish or something and calm it down. Yeah? So this is the technique. It's very popular also when you're outside painting in the nature. Yeah, I mean, of course now we are using picture, that's why we're looking at the picture, but it's when you paint anything. Yeah, so this is the okay, I'll go for the clouds. For the clouds, I also will maybe take the brush that is a bit more hard, like let's say, so I can do those like circular movements, yeah. Then I just take white, yeah, and that's it. I can play. So just okay. So now what I see that probably my blue that I've put in the start was actually too light. Yeah, I get no effect. I put my clouds and there is no the contrast. Oh, that's no problem. I go. So also maybe I don't have to darken it everywhere. It's actually more, I see just this left and right top corners. Yeah. So I'll just do that. too much. Yeah, so again, I will wait till it's dry. So I've darkened a bit. And okay, meanwhile, I can play with some clouds here. They're like horizontal stripes of white clouds on top of the head. They're not very subtle. Guys, share something. Is it hard?
I did send something just now, Evie.
Ah, okay. Yes, yes, yes. This is getting interesting. This is getting...
Not sure it's right or not, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Darren, our quickest painter. Here we have the Wanderer by Dar. Okay, let me think. Maybe the back of the head could be a little bit also like just go with the second layer inside the head. Yeah, so the hair. Yeah, so they have this lighter part on one side, but in the middle is a bit darker. Don't know, can try to do the stroke of the white t-shirt. Yeah, so if you have a tiny brush,
yeah,
maybe it can be a nice accent of this white showing through. But generally the rocks are cool. Yeah, the rocks have this feeling, yeah, of light and good. Those the second layer of the rocks are lighter. Yeah. Then maybe I would also go a bit more with this watery white on those back hills. Yeah. So maybe also like now we also maybe need to get to the clouds, so you can actually do it together with the clouds. Yeah. So first do with a bit more white the clouds, and then make your brush a bit more watery and just kind of cover with all the foggy. So this higher hill and this like a tower, like a castle shape. I can go more in the fog, but cool. Yeah, somehow the body of the guy, I feel his right hand as if it's at the back. Yeah, so that also yeah, but just to feel analyze the shape, you know, like of yeah. So I think like at the original, I feel he's holding his hand maybe on the knee or something. Yeah, and but generally the shape is cool. Huh? Yeah. Awesome. Huh. Okay. And the male, wow. Male, your shape. Yeah. So the same command for the back of the head. Yeah, just to give this, because it's contour light. Yeah, so light is in front of us. Yeah, but wow, I like it's very gentle. No, Mel.
Mine always is.
It is, yeah. Like your neck is also kind of yeah. It doesn't even feel dramatic that he's and with the jacket. Let's see, maybe if you want, you can darken up a bit, maybe the part of the back. Yeah, the skirt part looks nice. Also, maybe just darken the right stripe of the skirt. So they're not like three the same stripes, yeah? Maybe just leaving two is fine and a bit darken. Yeah, because we see with very, very little green, it's already kind of enough to to get the feeling. Yeah, here noticed. Okay, and Okay, sorry, I've missed the bigger picture of yours. Oh, I actually like that these blue clouds, this color. It kind of plays a bit with the jacket. Yeah? So maybe it's also nice. They're not gray. Maybe it's yeah. Also the rock, huh, guys? Maybe you've been somehow. Yamal and Darren got very nice shape of the rock. I'm missing the stick. Can also be without a stick, of course, but yeah. So sorry. A little bit. My eyes are catching a little bit those lines of those back heels. Yeah. So also maybe like the same as with Darren, just kind of whiten them up. Yeah. Because sometimes somehow it's yeah, there is a bit too dark, these stripes. And cool, yeah, we can now play also with the more foggy lines. That's actually easy, yeah. You already kind of you already have all this base. So just you're taking dry brush, pure white, yeah, or as I have, like one is a bit grayish but a bit white, and just playing with those stripes. Yeah, also feel free to go here up on the rocks. So the rocks are not kind of ending with the line, but you have those upper stripes on top, yeah? But hey, no, let's see. Okay. Louis. Oh, I like it. Yeah. So, okay, of course, the rock, yeah, needs to be just the job to be done. But I really like the jacket. It's very like intense, yeah. For example, the heel at the back, then you should tell me if it was your purpose, kind of, because it looks nice. I actually like this accent of this. Somehow, it like I'm talking about this stripe, and somehow it feels here the light, and I like this gray color. Yeah, but of course it's very strong. Of course, like if we try to copy or do like he did, of course it needs to be like maybe 5 times more pale. Yeah, it's just like really grayly. You can go on top with white, or of course then you say it's maybe the part of idea, and yeah, also maybe the rock on the right. So then you should see, yeah, I understand it's still not finished. So maybe then you finished first the rock at the bottom. You see how dark it is, because now, of course, these rocks on the right, they're too dark.
Yes.
Especially in comparison with the left ones, yeah.
Yes.
So then you, so either you just work also on the left rocks, yeah, and then you don't touch these right rocks, and then they become in tonality at its place, yeah. Or you darken up also a bit the left ones with brown, and can lighten up a bit those.
Yeah.
So this,
I think I'll do the fog last, and that will lighten the hill that's in the back.
Yep.
That blue one.
Yes.
And also the stone. So but yeah, I see
Yeah, but
it.
you're right, Louis. I mean, it's like you do it, and then once with the fog, exactly, you can again equal this tonality where it's needed. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very good command.
I hope so.
And I like this bright blue stripe on the neck. Yeah, nice accent also gives the and the focus. So the color of the hair is nice. The shape of the body, also the jacket kind of long. Yeah, not too. The shirt. Yeah, then cool. Yeah, so we all need just a bit more clouds and a bit more fog. And
And a lot more time.
yeah. So, yeah. So I will work also a bit more on my clouds and fog. Yeah, so Sanera, you also feel free to take a picture of your work and send in WhatsApp. Yeah, so I don't know if it was your mom's number or, yeah, so later I can also add you to the, so we are using the WhatsApp group, so then everyone can also see how other did. That's always fun. It's always very interesting. Yeah, so if you want to join, very welcome. Then just give me the number, I don't know, yours number or your mom's, and can be in the group. Yeah, because then also during the week we discuss what we would like to paint next Saturday. And I'm always asking for wishes. This week there was no wishes. I was actively asking, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I'm happy actually to choose. Then I choose what I want. But I'm always happy when someone chooses, because then sometimes it's something I wouldn't have chosen, or sometimes it's even some new artists that I wasn't even familiar with. And yeah, so if there is painting you've always wanted to paint, yeah, and of course doing these copies, I mean, it's kind of the painter, he already did the job of choices and the topic, the colors, the everything. So of course I'm showing you maybe more just the technical part. Yeah? But sometimes we invent our own. When Darren gets cool pictures, then we use his pictures to paint animals, birds. Yeah, and it's also good. Yeah, sometimes it's one is already a bit tired of copying too much. Then it's also good to switch a bit to. Yeah, so play, guys, with the fog. Then can also feel how wet, how dry the brush is.
Jamie did a great photograph of a lake in the morning light.
Yes,
That'd be a good one to do.
Yeah. Sorry, those pictures sometimes are very tricky to paint. Yeah, so be
That's
careful
true.
with those. Like, yeah, it looks cool, but once you paint it, it's
Yeah, I understand. 2 hours isn't enough time.
something, but it's but still, of course, it's doable. Yeah, so. Yeah, so my message was, feel free to express your wishes. So we also change a bit the, yeah, so of course, why not, we can experiment how hard or how easy it's to paint. Yeah, a sunset that you took with a photo. Of course, we all like to go and, oh, very nice view, we take a picture, and then it's
Like that pink one of the estuary that I have had at least 3 goes at painting and I just can't capture it.
Yeah, so maybe.
By the way, I sent you a picture.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, Karen, for letting me know, because I have also picture open that I don't see. Wow, very creative rock, Karen.
I love the rock. It's not, it's
did you use maybe pellet knife or?
Yeah.
Yes. yes. Yeah.
And
We haven't been using palette knife for a while. Should maybe this way
Wait
we're
for
gonna
Jules to come
attract Jules back to. Yeah. Yeah. Also nice. The jacket. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me say, for example, the elbow, the right elbow, I feel it's a little bit up.
yeah,
I mean, just with this physical proportion, yeah, but
yeah,
still it looks nice. And in this case, I feel the head is a bit too little for the size of the body.
yeah,
But it's actually, it's also your hair are like not really fluffy.
yeah,
So if you do them fluffy at once, with this will be enough to have this feeling the head is bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also maybe if you want this accent of the white shirt,
Collar.
yeah,
yeah,
could also make a very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the rock and the. Actually, very cool. Those grayish. Yeah, this very like slowly step by step with grayish tones. It actually feels very subtle, very gentle. Huh? You see how your back mountain and then the middle part and the front. So yeah, but the rock is cool.
I like the rock. I think some of the lighter tones need to be knocked back a bit, but yeah.
Again, it depends how you make the rest. Yes. So now, yes, it can look very strong, but then again, if you decide you also make the other rocks like closer as your frontal, then already there maybe it's not so strong.
Yeah.
If everything else stays this pale gray, so also don't rush. It's kind of this tonality is always in comparison. So it's not in itself, it's what I have in one corner, what I have in the other, what I have in the but cool, guys.
What you can't see is there's quite a lot of texture in my rocks because I've used a palette knife.
Yeah, no, actually I can. I mean, I appreciate
go right into it.
Cool.
Which is what I like about it, is the texture.
Right, we're going to shoot off now, guys. So hopefully see you all next week.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Mel.
Hey, Darren.
Yeah. Bye bye.
See you soon. Take care. Have a good week.
And you. Bye.
So I say we can work maybe another 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
Then I will have to go. So
yeah.
But I mean, I'm also still a bit doing some touch-ups. So feel free. A few minutes we can. And then of course also sending later in the chat. Also is. Okay. But it didn't feel so hard, did it? Or
no, it was okay actually. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the more successful ones I've done. I mean, I know of course it's not finished.
Yeah, your rock rocks.
Your rock rocks. Thank you. I like my rock.
So Nera, maybe you want to comment something, how you're doing there, if you want, of course. Feel free to. Was it very hard, or because I don't know how you generally, what's your painting experience?
It was like okay.
What was easy? What was hard?
The rocks were a little bit hard, but the rest are good.
Okay, I'm very excited to see your painting. So please ask your mom to send me later. Yes, and I can send you later also resend what others did, how others Yeah, so then you can. It's good. It's good to see. Cool. And are you painting a lot? Are you? So I mean, it's not the first time you use acrylics or something. It's
Yes.
yeah. Very nice.
And apart from the stinking cold, how's your first week at work been, Evie?
So again, I didn't get it, Carol.
Sorry?
If you can repeat, I didn't understand.
Your first week at work, how has that gone?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, very intense. But I was excited. I loved it. I got already connected with different level of kids. Yeah, the small ones. I found the easier, the nicest, because they all happy to paint, and yeah, little girls would hug me, and it's it was very, very sweet. The big ones, well, the teenagers. So of course, some were just ignoring me.
Yeah.
And so, or not even like, I wouldn't say even ignoring. I would say they would also like try to provoke me, or I don't know, like
Test you?
yeah, something like this. With all the stories that they're not allowed to use phones, but honestly, I'm not really kind of wishing to run after them and pointing to each one like, don't use the phone, and especially like some tasks with the phone in the class. So that's one story. Like then they would also like ask, can I go to the toilet? Of course you can go, but then they don't come back, or come back maybe 15 minutes later or something.
Yeah.
But in each class, actually, we were kind of noisy, but it doesn't bother me, the noise. I was actually also a bit like, aren't we too noisy for the classrooms that are next to
Yes.
us? I was worried maybe other teachers would come, because we also played some game. There is like this Kahoot. So I've created this like a quiz game. So they need to use the phones. They're always very happy when they need to use the phones. And then there will were some art questions, and then yeah, like multiple choice, and then everyone who's in the class, and you see the scores, and like who's ending up, the first place, the third. So usually everyone likes it. And when we were playing, oh my god, the fourth grade, they were so loud playing. They all got up from the tables. They went like close to the screen, jumping and pressing. And I was like, oh my god, now the other teachers will come and
Tell you off.
but I don't know. So I still don't have the feedback, let's say maybe from other teachers or something. So
Yeah.
but actually, I had a glimpse, let's say, of I heard. So it was before lesson was starting, and the fourth grade, they were waiting in the hallway, and the door was open. So I heard one girl was saying, "This is our new painting teacher," and I already heard that she's very nice. Like that they're like strict teachers, and the soft.
Yeah.
So I already have the fame of being the
Nice teacher.
the soft one, and so and yeah, cool. So let's say the older classes, there is one girl that is planning to enter the architecture faculty.
Yeah.
And since it was the one that I was finishing, she's like looking at me now as the god. She's like, I'll do whatever you say. And so yeah, I'll also, next week is the second week. I'll be meeting also other, because then I have like with each class I meet every second week.
Right.
Because I don't know, the new program, there are not so much hours a week of art, and it means they've doubled the lessons.
Yeah.
So next week is also all new ones to meet. Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. I must agree. I end up with my head like huge, and I really need like a break of silence. And I've already spotted which staircase of the school is like less used, and if I take it, then it's almost no people, and it's like, whoa, you know. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's also a bit tricky with the language. In Latvia, we have the situation of Latvian and Russian language, and the school is Russian, but I have to talk in Latvian, and yeah, it's kids don't like smaller ones, they don't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit now like, I mean, of course I switch to Russian, but by the rules, and if the the government commission comes, then I'll be punished for so something like this. But the bigger ones, the bigger kids, they understand Latvian. It's kind of okay. So there is a bit of this.
I'm always completely and totally amazed at how children's facility to learn languages. They just seem to soak it up.
Yes, but so in this case, like exactly with older classes, it's easier because all these kids at home speak Russian.
Yeah.
And then it depends where they spend their free time. So some of kids might not be exposed to Latvian language at all.
Yeah.
And it means the small kids don't know Latvian language at all.
Yeah.
And the older ones, since of course generally like lots of subjects at school are, so it's kind of slowly transferred. It's tricky bit, but we'll see.
Maybe what type of school is this? Is it a public school, a private school?
Yeah, it's a public school. Yeah, and then it's considered to be like school for minorities. So like Russians living in Latvia, considered to be the let's say, yeah. So let's say, I don't know, like maybe in the States you have, I'm not sure, yeah, but if you have like, yeah, but still all the Latinos and Spanish speaking, they still study in English. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, English as a second language, ESL students, or what do you mean?
Yeah, but like just to have this comparison. Yeah, so because still there are a lot of Russian speaking people in Latvia, and so there are lots of Russian schools here, but now they're being transferred to being Latvian, and this is a bit not complicated, but it takes time to manage it. And
I've just resent to you.
Okay.
Let's do that hair.
Very quickly take off. Okay, what has changed?
What do you mean you can't tell? I've actually put more white on in terms of my clouds, and it's just knocked everything back slightly. See, it looks like a massive difference to me.
Okay, that's interesting. Because now, when you mentioned, of course, now I see also the texture of white yeah, and the white paint. But somehow it feels like maybe you've missed having this a bit darker background. So then when you put those white clouds, then it makes kind of, because now it feels more like you came back maybe to white paper, or I'm not sure, like, yeah, I mean, it looks foggy, but it looks like white.
Yeah.
That's why, let's say, maybe I was playing a bit more with gray and blue.
Yeah.
First darker, and then putting on top those white stripes, then lets this game to happen. But you had like lots of gray first, but this gray was also very pale. So I'm not really even like, I'm not getting this foggy contrast. If
Yeah, I understand.
Well, what I mean, but yeah, I'm looking at your work. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I think, well, it's kind of now looks very separate. Like the background lives its own life, and the guy with the rock, maybe the other story, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I understand.
maybe somewhere should be the transition.
Yeah.
And,
I can see.
because if you see, there are also lots of blue, darker grayish, bluish grayish, especially in this frontal part, yeah. So of course, for this back part, this. Yeah.
I will come back in with some slightly darker colors and take out that white with a very pale gray.
Yes. So
I might let it dry first, though.
Good
Probably
idea.
be a good idea.
Okay, guys. I'm having another lesson afterwards, so I will.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all for joining. Hard work, good ones. Yeah, so if you'll take your time to finish, send in the chat to discuss, and then let's till next week. Yeah, we keep in touch. I see Sanera. Yes, thank you.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Thanks, Evie.
Yes, thank you also everyone for joining.